Let's be honest. When you first started your small business, bookkeeping probably wasn't what was getting you out of bed every morning. I'm sure you were incredibly excited about your phenomenal new product or the really innovative solution that you created to solve other small business owners' needs. But now, your business is up and going, money is flowing in and out, and you have to be able to sit down and distill all of that information into usable financial data. Not just for you as the small business owner, but also for reporting and compliance purposes. Hi, I'm Holly, and I'm the owner of Accrual Mistress Bookkeeping and Consulting, and today we're going to dive into why bookkeeping is not just a necessary evil, but an essential part of running your small business. Bookkeeping is how we track every dollar that comes in the form of sales and every dollar that goes out in the form of expenses in the course of running your business. Now, not to be confused with accounting, bookkeeping is much more based in that transactional level data and recording everything day in, day out. Accounting tends to take on more of an analytical side of things, so we're looking at more tax prep, tax planning, and retirement planning, which is especially critical as a self-employed small business owner. Now, here's the kicker. If our bookkeeping isn't up to date, if we haven't been reconciling our accounts, if we haven't been recording all of our transactions, then we can't do any of that other planning, and that puts us at a severe disadvantage, not just at tax time, but throughout the year when it comes to decision making. So, why is bookkeeping such an essential part of running your small business? Well, the simple answer is that it answers questions. When we have an up-to-date profit and loss and balance sheet, we can answer things like, are our products and services profitable? Do we need to and can we afford to hire help in our business? Should we make an investment in equipment? Or even, do we need to raise our prices, right? All of these things come up, and if we have up-to-date and accurate financial data, we can make these decisions in real time and without hesitation. It also puts us at a much better advantage when it comes to tax season. If we can hand all of our documents off to our CPA knowing that our reports are complete and accurate, that prevents us from doing that last-minute rush to gather receipts and other documentation for everything that we did throughout the year for our business. And trust me, it is much easier and much more affordable to stay up to date on your bookkeeping than it is to try to catch it up 6 months or a year later. At this point, you might be wondering, well, do I actually need bookkeeping, or what level of bookkeeping do I need for my small business? And the answer to that really does depend and vary. If you're a solopreneur, your reporting needs are definitely going to be less than someone who has a lot of employees. But at the end of the day, if your goals are to grow your business, if you're hoping to possibly bring in business partners or apply for loans, either personally or professionally, to scale your business, you are going to need, at minimum, a profit and loss and balance sheet. And those are generated as a direct result of bookkeeping. I know it can feel a little bit overwhelming to get started, but if you don't have these resources and tools already, here are 3 things that you can do right away without getting a CPA, without getting a bookkeeper, to just get started on this journey. The first is make sure that you have a separate bank account for your business and personal finances. Okay? I know this might sound pretty simplistic, but it is so easy when you are a small business owner to get your wires crossed on what you're spending and where. It's also really critical to make sure that you are recording any investments that you as the small business owner have made in the business. And if you're transferring money into a business bank account to then use for expenses, that process becomes much easier. Additionally, you'll want to consider how you're going to be compiling all of this data. You can absolutely use software like QuickBooks, Wave, FreshBooks, Patriot. All those are possible options in the cloud-based accounting space. But you can also use an Excel spreadsheet if that's where you are at this point in time. The last thing is I highly recommend making a regular habit of recording all of this data, right? If you don't have a lot of volume, maybe weekly or monthly works, but I certainly don't recommend letting it go any longer than that, simply because you want to keep fresh in your mind what you have been purchasing, who has been paying you, and you don't want to give it too much time and allow those receipts to get lost. If you follow these 3 steps, it's definitely going to make the distillation of all of this information into usable financial reports much easier. I know bookkeeping is not the most glamorous part of running your small business, and because it does involve financial data and reporting to the IRS, it can actually feel pretty fraught and stressful. But at the end of the day, having correct data, having complete financial reports is one of the best ways for you to be able to confidently grow your business and report to governing agencies without the usual scramble and meltdown every April. I hope that you found this information useful. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop those in the comments below. I'm going to answer as many as I possibly can, and I will be continuing to put out additional videos to hopefully answer even more questions. If you found this information useful, please like and subscribe, and I would love to hear your feedback in the future. Again, I'm Holly, and thank you so much for joining me today.